Sheikh Khalid Al Mansour, a powerful Dubai businessman, and Vanessa, the glamorous model he kept hidden in his U.S. mansion, were found dead in a scene that stunned investigators. Blood on silk sheets, shattered glass on the floor, and no signs of forced entry. What looked like a secret affair gone wrong unraveled into a web of poison, betrayal, and a family conspiracy so shocking it shook two continents. This is the story of wealth, obsession, and the betrayal that turned love into murder. Sheikh Khalid Al Mansour was known in Dubai as a respected businessman, admired for his wealth and influence, but in the United States he lived a different life. Far away from his family, he spent his time inside a massive Beverly Hills mansion, surrounded by luxury and secrecy. It was here that he kept his affair hidden with Vanessa, a young model who had charmed him with beauty and ambition. To outsiders, the Sheikh's life looked flawless, but behind closed doors he was a man divided between tradition and temptation. On a warm summer evening, Sheikh Khalid returned to his home with Vanessa after a private party. The mansion, secured by gates and cameras, seemed like the safest place in the world. Expensive wine was poured, soft music filled the air, and the couple retreated upstairs. Hours later, the house fell silent, but that silence masked a scene of horror. The next morning, the staff discovered the Sheikh lifeless in bed, his body still and pale. Vanessa lay collapsed on the floor beside him, her dress torn, blood pooling beneath her. Broken glass was scattered across the room, and the air carried the scent of something bitter. Investigators rushed in, but nothing seemed to add up. All valuables remained untouched. Watches, jewels, even stacks of cash lay where they had always been. There were no signs of forced entry, no masked intruder caught on camera. Whispers spread quickly. Was it jealousy, betrayal, or something much darker? The world soon learned that this was no ordinary crime. It was a carefully woven trap, crafted with precision by someone close enough to bypass every layer of protection. What seemed like a private scandal was about to unravel into one of the most shocking discoveries police had ever made. That summer night in Beverly Hills carried an unsettling calm, though no one inside the mansion could have sensed it. Sheikh Khalid had attended an exclusive gathering earlier that evening, mingling with celebrities and investors, his charm as magnetic as ever. By his side was Vanessa, dressed elegantly, basking in the glow of being connected to such immense power and wealth. When the couple returned home, the security gates slid shut, cameras blinked, and the world outside faded away. To anyone watching, it looked like the beginning of another lavish evening in the Sheikh's private paradise. Inside, the atmosphere was polished and perfect. The living room shimmered with golden chandeliers. The marble floors glistened, and the faint sound of music echoed from hidden speakers. Vanessa walked through the halls as though she belonged there, comfortable in the secrets she kept. The Sheikh opened a bottle of imported wine, one of his rarest collections, and poured 2 glasses. They sat together, laughing softly, surrounded by treasures worth millions. Nothing hinted at the darkness that was about to strike. As the night stretched on, the couple moved upstairs. From the outside, the mansion appeared silent, but inside, unseen eyes might have been watching, waiting for the right moment. The thick walls hid what was coming, a storm of violence and betrayal that would soon erase every trace of glamour from that house. The security systems, designed to keep intruders away, offered no protection from the danger already within. By midnight, the Sheikh and Vanessa vanished into the privacy of their master suite. What they didn't know was that their final hours together had already been written, and every step they took brought them closer to the tragedy that would leave the entire world stunned the following morning. The following morning, the mansion's quiet grandeur felt unusual. Normally, by sunrise, the house buzzed with movement, staff preparing breakfast, phones ringing, cars waiting at the gate. But that day, a heavy silence lingered. When the staff finally entered, their footsteps echoed against the marble floors, carrying them upstairs toward the Sheikh's suite. What they found behind the double doors was a sight that froze them in terror. On the king-size bed, Sheikh Khalid's body lay unnaturally still. His skin had turned pale, his chest no longer rising with breath. The once powerful man looked small and fragile, his expensive silk shirt stained with dark patches. Just a few feet away, Vanessa's body was sprawled across the floor, one arm reaching toward the bed as though she had tried to escape. Her hair was tangled, her dress torn, and beneath her, blood had seeped into the white carpet, turning it a sickening shade of red. The room was in disarray. A shattered wine bottle lay in pieces near the window, sharp fragments glinting in the morning light. The curtains, once perfectly drawn, were half ripped from their rails. Pillows had been thrown across the floor as if a desperate struggle had taken place. The air itself seemed heavy, carrying a faint chemical odor mixed with the metallic sting of blood. Authorities were called immediately, arriving within minutes to secure the mansion. Cameras flashed, sirens wailed, and neighbors gathered in disbelief outside the gates. At first glance, detectives thought it might have been a double murder fueled by passion or revenge. Yet there were no signs of forced entry. The doors were locked, the windows sealed, and nothing valuable had been taken. The crime scene posed a chilling puzzle. If no intruder came inside, then who had unleashed such horror within the Sheikh's fortress of luxury? Police quickly sealed off the mansion, treating it as one of the most high-profile cases they had ever faced. Officers moved through the halls, documenting every detail, while detectives studied the disturbing scene upstairs. At first glance, the double death looked like the result of a brutal attack, but something about the picture felt incomplete. Valuable watches, rare artwork, and jewelry worth millions remained untouched. Even stacks of $100 bills inside a desk drawer were left behind. If robbery wasn't the motive, then why had the Sheikh and Vanessa been killed so violently? Attention turned to the security systems that guarded the property. Surveillance cameras covered every entrance, yet investigators found no footage of a stranger breaking in. The gates had not been forced, and alarms had never gone off. The mansion appeared sealed from the outside world. Detectives began to wonder if the danger had come not from outside, but from someone trusted enough to move freely within the estate. The staff was questioned one by one. Most had been off duty the night before, but all denied seeing or hearing anything unusual. Still, police sensed unease in their answers. Everyone in that house had known about the Sheikh's secret relationship with Vanessa, and jealousy or resentment could have brewed beneath the surface. Investigators also considered another angle. Could Vanessa herself have been a target, dragged into a deadly scheme meant to strike at the Sheikh? Every new detail deepened the mystery instead of solving it. The mansion that once promised safety now seemed to hold secrets in every corner. The evidence refused to point in one direction, leaving detectives circling between theories of betrayal, revenge, and hidden enemies. What they didn't realize was that the true trail of clues lay buried in the Sheikh's hidden personal life, clues that would soon unravel a conspiracy no one expected. As investigators dug into the Sheikh's personal life, the story took a darker turn. What began as a straightforward murder investigation soon revealed a man entangled in secrets. Sheikh Khalid was not only a powerful figure in Dubai, but also someone who had quietly built another identity in America. Financial records uncovered by detectives showed enormous sums of money moving between private accounts, many of them linked directly to Vanessa. She was not merely a mistress. She had become financially dependent on him, receiving luxury cars, jewelry, and millions of dollars in transfers over the years. But Vanessa was far from loyal. Investigators uncovered phone records and private messages that exposed her secret involvement with another man. His name was Derek, a struggling entrepreneur who had been seen entering the mansion weeks before the tragedy. Detectives quickly realized that Vanessa had been balancing two worlds, one of wealth and glamour with the Sheikh, and another of secrecy and risk with Derek. The picture of a passionate romance now looked more like a dangerous web of deceit. As the evidence grew, detectives wondered if jealousy or financial desperation had ignited a deadly plan. Perhaps Vanessa and Derek had conspired against the Sheikh, or maybe their relationship had drawn the attention of someone even more dangerous. The more they learned, the the more complicated the case became. Every new revelation raised more questions than answers. The Sheikh's staff described Vanessa as charming but distant, often disappearing for days with vague excuses. Surveillance footage from earlier weeks even showed Derek entering the house discreetly, as though welcomed by someone inside. Police now faced a chilling possibility. The killings might not have been a random act at all, but the outcome of a carefully staged betrayal. The investigation seemed stuck between theories of passion and betrayal, until forensic results delivered the first real breakthrough. Toxicology reports on both Sheikh Khalid and Vanessa revealed the same shocking detail. Traces of a rare poison had been found in their systems. The evidence ruled out the idea of a sudden outburst or robbery gone wrong. This was deliberate, calculated, and carefully planned. Someone had chosen a substance that was not easy to obtain, one that required knowledge, access, and intent. Detectives returned to the mansion, combing through rooms with renewed focus. In a wine cellar, tucked behind a row of expensive bottles, they discovered something chilling: a small, unmarked vial. The container was half empty, its glass surface wiped clean of fingerprints. It was an item that didn't belong in the Sheikh's collection, and its presence confirmed that the poison had likely been slipped into the wine he had shared with Vanessa that night. The broken bottle found upstairs suddenly took on new meaning. It wasn't just the result of chaos, but evidence of the moment the poison had been consumed. Investigators now shifted their attention from outside threats to those who had intimate knowledge of the Sheikh's habits. Only someone close to him would know which wine he valued, which nights he would drink, and when security would be most relaxed. The theory of an intruder grew weaker by the hour, replaced by the possibility of an insider orchestrating everything. The poison connected the crime to someone far more dangerous than a jealous lover. It pointed to planning, precision, and a level of patience that suggested this was never about sudden rage. It was about inheritance, wealth, and power. Detectives now knew they were not hunting a stranger, but someone who had been standing in the Sheikh's shadow all along. The investigation took a dramatic turn when detectives began tracing Vanessa's hidden financial records. Transfers that initially appeared to come only from the Sheikh led to something far more sinister. A trail of money wound its way through offshore accounts, eventually pointing to someone no one had suspected, a member of the Sheikh's own family. His cousin, Farid al-Mansour, was discovered to be quietly funneling funds into Vanessa's accounts while also handling Khalid's U.S. business affairs. Farid had long been responsible for managing Khalid's overseas investments, giving him unrestricted access to bank accounts, properties, and even staff contracts. Detectives learned that if Sheikh Khalid died without direct heirs in America, Farid stood to inherit a massive share of his fortune. The motive was suddenly clear: greed disguised as loyalty. But Farid hadn't acted alone. He had manipulated Vanessa through promises of wealth and independence, convincing her to help poison the Sheikh. What she didn't realize was that she, too, had been marked for death. Evidence mounted quickly. The rare poison found in the Sheikh's body was traced back to an online purchase made under a false identity. But digital forensics exposed Farid's involvement. Vanessa had unknowingly been used as the perfect distraction, while Derek, the struggling entrepreneur she had been seeing, became an expendable pawn. Farid's plan had been cold and precise: remove Khalid, silence Vanessa, and leave Derek vulnerable to suspicion. The truth shocked everyone. This was not a crime of passion, but a betrayal from within the family itself. Detectives realized that what looked like a messy double killing was, in fact, the end of a carefully constructed conspiracy designed to shift power and wealth. The tragedy had not been born from love, but from blood, inheritance, and greed. Farid's carefully designed plan began to collapse the moment detectives tied him to the poison purchase. Surveillance logs showed him visiting the mansion in the weeks before the murder, often under the excuse of handling business matters. Bank records revealed sudden movements of money into secret accounts right after Khalid's death. The evidence was overwhelming, and when authorities closed in, Farid attempted to flee the country using a private jet. He was arrested at the airport before takeoff, his face a mask of panic as the empire he tried to steal crumbled around him. Derek, shaken and desperate to save himself, agreed to testify. He confessed that Vanessa had told him about the plan, but claimed he never believed it would end in murder. His testimony painted a picture of manipulation, Vanessa caught in Farad's scheme, believing she was securing her future, while Derek thought he was merely helping her gain freedom. Instead, both had been pawns in a game they never fully understood. In court, Farad showed no remorse. The prosecution revealed every detail of the conspiracy, from the poison hidden among fine wines to the financial traps he had set long before the crime. The trial gripped the public, drawing global attention as reporters broadcast each revelation. Vanessa's death became a symbol of tragic betrayal, while Khalid's murder exposed how even the most powerful could fall to the greed of their own blood. The mansion was eventually sold, but no buyer could erase the chilling memory of what happened inside. In Dubai, Khalid's family mourned a man whose life had been split between duty and secrecy. In America, his death was remembered as one of the most shocking betrayals in recent history. The legacy he left behind was no longer just wealth, but a cautionary tale of trust, ambition, and the deadly cost of greed.